Valve seem to have made a habit of giving CSGO one big update every year. For the past 2 years, this has come in the form of an operation. Large updates that are filled with tons of new content. Most of that content requires a hand from Lady Luck or a handsome wallet to acquire, but there's always something for everyone. As well as new content, Valve seem to use these opportunities to add new quality of life improvements. Last year's major changes were the new agents and the end of round accolades, something I can't imagine playing the game without. However, this year we saw the introduction of the ping system, something I've only seen used occasionally. For years the community were asking for improvements to the radio callout system, the ability to say sorry, to quickly say which bomb site to target, to request an eco, and yet now that these features are here, the system seems dead on arrival. Requests for an expansion to the radio command system can be traced back to well over 6 years ago. There have been many suggestions to make the radio commands more useful and fitting given the direction the game has evolved. Requests for commands like need a drop, rotate, and eco were some of the more frequent suggestions. So the inclusion of these new features clearly show that Valve have been listening, but as always with anything from Valve, patience is a virtue. The new ping system, seen in CSGO, has been compared to those seen in many other modern titles. You can ping specific points of the map with a bound button, which will then mark those locations on the radar. This isn't particularly new, it's been featured in many other shooters for a few years now, and has even been a part of the danger zone mode for a while. Accompanying the new ping system is the chat wheel. It features a wheel similar to those found in many other modern titles that lets players quickly select an in-game callout no matter the input device. These have been seen in many of Valve's past titles like Left 4 Dead, but again, this isn't particularly new. What makes CSGO's system so different is that you can now customize 3 separate communication wheels. 3! Each wheel provides you with 8 options, and there are well over 40 callouts to choose from. Many other competitive FPS games have moved to a similar system well before CSGO, like Overwatch, where you can pick and choose which callouts appear on your wheel. However, CSGO is the first game I can think of where you're given a grand total of 3 wheels that you can totally customize to your own liking. Moreover, the new communication wheel doesn't actually override the old radio system. The new communication wheel comes with some huge benefits, especially when compared with the older radio system. Selecting a callout is a lot faster using the new wheel. It's a really helpful addition for those who aren't confident on the mic, or don't have a mic. As with the previous system, there is text and audio feedback, although audio feedback has been arbitrarily limited to the master agents.
Let's go to bomb site Bravo.
Unlike the radio callouts, many of these will also ping locations on the map. For example, if you use the enemy spotted command, a little icon will appear in the location you were looking at, or if you ping middle, a flashing icon will be marked in mid for all other players to see. There are far more useful and precise options to pick from too. Instead of just the generic stick together or need backup commands, you can select from a variety of more descriptive strategies like spread out, rotate to me, or even point out it's an AWP you've spotted. The new callout system in general feels more attuned to the way the game is being played, and the different options are just way more useful. I don't think I ever used the old radio commands as a serious way of suggesting strategies, but now I can request a B split in a roundabout way. The system is by no means perfect, and in most cases, voice chat is going to be the preferred option for most players. I can see it coming in handy from time to time though, but there are a few issues with the system that are going to put a few people off. The biggest issue is it's not the default system, and setting it up isn't that easy. It's hidden deep within the options menu. I'm all for plenty of options, but with everything we've seen added to CSGO over the last few years, the menus have become quite hard to navigate if you're not familiar with them. When your options list needs a search function, it's probably time to do a bit of reorganization. Another major issue is that most characters don't have voice lines programmed for the system. The new female agents for the SWAT and professionals all have the necessary lines recorded and programmed in game, but they've been dashed out, meaning they won't work. Many of the other agents and factions don't seem to have all the necessary lines in game yet. It seemed silly though for Valve to have launched the system before recording all the necessary lines. Sure, that would probably mean the launch for the new communication wheel would have to be pushed back to February or March, but it would have made the new system feel much more complete at launch. Whilst you are given 3 wheels to customize, you are given far more options than you need, and some are very mode specific. If you're one of the 6 players who enjoys playing the hostage game mode in competitive, you're probably not going to want a wheel dedicated to various bomb related callouts. That being said, if you wanted to play Dust 2 in matchmaking for a bit, you'd had to reconfigure your setup to more optimally match the mode. And whilst this is less of an issue for many players now, the new chat wheel commands don't have any impact on bots. Whilst bots would previously respond to your radio commands, the new wheel isn't programmed to have any effect on bots. Not that there's any bots to command anymore, but if you have the inclination to play around with them offline, it's best you stick with the old system. That may all sound rather bleak, but I don't think the new ping system is a lost cause. There are plenty of things the new system improves upon, and with a few tweaks it could easily become a vastly superior system. Firstly, Valve simply need to fix the missing voice lines. It's all well and good having a little message appear in chat, but in the heat of the moment, you're going to be focused on the angle you're holding, or trying to control your spray pattern, not focusing on the chat. Secondly, the system needs to become the new default, and it needs better signposting in-game. For many new players, it's going to be very easy to miss, and the fact that it's not bound by default means that it won't be considered by the players who will benefit from it most. Thirdly, it'd be better if the new system actually interacted with bots too. It's a minor issue, but fixing this would give the new chat wheel more functionality for those that play the game offline or enjoy messing around with bots. Fourthly, allowing for more commands to be assigned per wheel would give players more options in-game. With 45 selectable commands, you can barely even assign 2/3 of them to a slot. While some commands are more useful than others, having 10 slots per wheel would give players more options in-game. And finally, there are some specific options that could be expanded upon. There are currently only 3 specific location commands: bombsite A and B and middle. A few extra commands pointing out common locations like connector, ramp, CT spawn, T spawn go a long way to making communication a little smoother in game. I personally love the new radio ping system. It's far more useful than the old radio system was by default, and includes plenty of useful callouts that better reflect the current state of the game. That being said, Valve could do a lot more to make the system more meaningful to players. Without doubt, the chat wheel is an underused gem within the update. Obviously, for more experienced players, it's not that useful. But for newer players, lower ranked players, shy players, and those without access to a mic, this update is fantastic, but it's been hidden away within the options menu. I've been playing this game from its early beta stages, and if this was the default from the get-go, you can bet this would have been praised as one of the main improvements over previous titles. I've no doubt that Valve will improve upon the chat wheel in the future, but for now it's a pretty rough diamond. If you liked this content, don't forget to like and subscribe. Check out some of my other videos too whilst you're here. Don't forget to also check out my Twitter, linked in the description, and I'll see you in the next video.